Hello sewing sisters, I am Jay and this is the Camden Stitch. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am going to do a quick review of the Mimi G Jessica dress, which is here on the dress form. I made it a couple of weeks ago from an old Primark duvet cover, and actually it wasn't even an old duvet cover, it was one that was in rotation being used on my bed, and then I saw somebody else making one in an old Primark duvet cover that was the same as mine, and I loved it so much that I decided I had to make one the same. So I made it a couple of weeks ago. I did find the pattern a bit of a struggle. I think it may have been that I made an error when I originally cut the facings, but the facings were 10mm, 1 centimetre too short for the bodice. So originally I thought that that was because I had stretched the bodice out so while I was sewing it. So I ease-stitched like long loose stitches all around the top of the bodice, eased it in. So I basically made the bodice top shrink using a lot of steam as well to fit the facing. Tried it on and it was sort of too tight, it was too small, and I think actually the issue was that the facing was too small rather than that the bodice was too big. So I finished up having to remake the bodice as a toile, get it to fit me. I had to do some more tweaks and then finally made the third version. Fortunately it was a double duvet cover, so there was lots of fabric in it for me to make lots of mistakes. I'm really pleased with how it's come out now. I'm really pleased with the fit. I think that it's the sort of bodice that I will use quite a lot because it's such a nice fit on me. I think that it'll be really easy to hack into other sorts of designs. So I'm going to post a picture of a Mccall's pattern that's just been released, and as you can see it's a button down dress, but it has quite a different upper part. It's got a high square neckline, but I think that this would be quite easy to hack into that. So I plan to make that soon. I actually also plan to make a couple more of these just as they are, without changing the pattern, because it's such a nice wearable dress. I made it to be at a midi length on me, which is good for me in the summer because if it's sort of above the knee, then I have to wear tights, and I've only really got black opaque tights. They're not that summery, especially when it's been really hot. So the longer length means I can go bare-legged. It's just cooler generally, lots of air getting to all the important bits, and I really like it. I did have a few issues with the instructions and the way that they were laid out. I downloaded the pattern last year when it was free. It's not free anymore, so I don't know if the instructions are still the same now if you actually buy the pattern. I got the A0 version of the pattern printed out by Net Printer and traced it off, which is what I normally do, and then I accessed the instructions, which were a PDF, and my first beef with them is that they didn't tell you to stay stitch any of the bodice pieces, and although, as I said, perhaps the bodice hadn't stretched out as much as I thought it did, there were certainly elements of it that did stretch out, and certainly the sweetheart sections of the princess bodice, I think the bodice has 6 panels in all, and the sweetheart ones has obviously a curved top, and that definitely should have needed stay stitching. So I did, but if you were a newbie you wouldn't necessarily know to do that, and I think stay stitching is so important because you can cut as accurately as you want, but then if your pieces don't fit, you know, and a lot of patterns seem to miss it out. I don't know if it's just assumed that you know to do it, but I think it's something I'd rather be told to stay stitch than be told how to do a hem. Like, I know how to do a hem, and I'm not going to forget to do a hem, but I might forget to stay stitch. So that annoyed me that wasn't on the pattern. Then there were a couple of more instructions. The instructions that you get in the PDF are very brief, and there were a couple more steps that weren't explained very fully. So I hopped over to Mimi G's Sew Along, and what was annoying was that on the Sew Along she actually told you to perform the steps in a different order. So I think in the in the PDF version you make the skirt first and attach the band, but in the sew along you make the bodice first. So the order that you attach the button bands is actually different, so the sew along wasn't as helpful as it could have been. So I did find the instructions really brief. Fortunately I was able to suss them out. There are a couple of other things, like it tells you to understitch the facing and then it tells you to understitch and then top stitch. Well, for myself I would either do one or the other. I top stitched all my edges because I wanted to have that look. I wanted to have the top stitching going down the button band, but yeah, I wouldn't, if I was just going to understitch them, I wouldn't necessarily top stitch them as well, but maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, let me know. So yeah, not the best instructions, but if you're an experienced sewist, you won't have any problems with it. It's just really, I never would have been able to do it if it had been a year ago. But I'm really pleased with the pattern overall. I just think it's such a lovely silhouette, and having got the fit right is just great. So I definitely want to go back and remake that, because I've put in all the hard work fitting it, so now I've got a well-fitting bodice. I want to use that really. I might do a different pleated skirt on it. I even thought about making a jumpsuit version. I did think that I might switch out this bodice for the bodice of the Vogue wide leg jumpsuit. I'll put the pattern number on screen, but the one that I made in the African wax print, that I didn't really think that the bodice suited me, and I thought about doing those very big wide leg trousers with this much smaller sort of thinner spaghetti strap on the top. I thought that might look quite different, so I might give that a go. Anyway, watch this space. I hope you enjoyed my little review of this, and I shall pop in some pictures of me swanning about in my lovely leafy dress on my leafy balcony, and I'll leave you with that. If you enjoyed this video, please give me the thumbs up and click on the subscribe, and just have a chat in the comments. Let me know what you're up to. Have you made this pattern? Did you like it? Did you have the same problems as me with the instructions, or is that just me being daft? Anyway, I shall see you very soon. Bye bye.